Hello, language enthusiast. Welcome back to my channel that makes English grammar easy, effective, and exam ready. Today's video is the first part of our detailed series on clauses, which is a crucial topic for SSC, IBPS, SBI, NDA, CDS, ACIO, UPSC, BPSC, and different types of competitive exams. So, in this video, we will clearly explain what are dependent, independent clauses, their usage with easy examples, and common mistakes to avoid while using them in sentences. About my channel, there is a grammar series already which is already present, which is already uploaded content like the conjunction series, infinitive series, one word substitution series, idiom series, adjective adverb series, and many more are on the way. At least 3 grammar videos per week to boost your preparation for tier 1 and tier 2 exams. So I will upload at least 3 grammar videos per week so that it will boost your preparation for tier 1 and tier 2 exam. Also for NEET aspirants, I have uploaded many biology lesson. Tomorrow, don't miss the detailed video on gastrointestinal tract, which is very useful for NEET, BPSC, UPSC, and other civil services exams. And yes, don't forget to watch my weekly science and technology updates, which will be going to uploaded within 2 days. And current affairs part and 1 and 2. Next part is coming soon. So after watching this video, if you found this video is helpful, please like, share and subscribe because it will also motivates me to keep bringing more helpful content for you. It also help me grow this channel. If you feel the videos deserve it, your support really matters. So kindly like, share and subscribe. So we are going to prepare, if you are going to prepare for competitive exams, make sure to check out other videos from my grammar, biology, science and technology and current affairs series, which is already in my channel. Let's get started. What is a clause? A group of words that includes a subject and a verb and forms a sentence or a part of sentence. So, clause is a group of words that has a subject, that have a subject and a verb, and it helps in forming a sentence or a part of sentence. Example is given. I will call you when I reach home. I will call you when I reach home. So I will call you is the independent clause, which is also called principal clause or main clause because it stands it stands alone. It gives complete meaning. When I reach home is totally dependent on the first statement, that is a I will call you. So I will call you is a principal clause, main clause, independent clause, and dependent clause is when I reach home because it cannot give a complete meaning if there is a independent clause is not present in a sentence. So dependent clause, subordinate clause are not able to give complete meaning. When I reach home is dependent clause or subordinate clause. So what is a clause? A clause is a group of words in a sentence that connects a subject, that connects a subject, that connects a subject, that is a noun, pronoun, noun phrase, and a verb. So clause is a group of words in a sentence that helps in connecting a subject and a verb. Subject should be either noun, pronoun, or noun phrase. So clauses can be thought of as the building block of sentences. Just like we are saying cell is the building block of our life. So clauses can be believed as the building block of sentences. So we cannot frame any sentences without taking help of clauses. There are two main types of clauses. One is independent clauses and second one is dependent clauses. Independent clauses is also known as principal clause, because it is the main clause. So independent clauses is same as principal clause or main clause. Dependent clause is depending on main clause, principal clause, independent clause. So it is called subordinate clauses. Clause meanings, we understood that it includes a subject and a verb, subject verb. So there are two types of clauses we have known, independent clause and dependent clause, which is also called subordinate clauses. So subordinated clauses always carries either subordinative conjunction or relative pronouns. Conjunction series is already in my channel, so kindly watch that series also before watching this video, because it will help in understanding clause very well. So clauses contain a subject and a verb. Subject means a person or thing which is doing the action. A verb means the action. Whatever the action is performed, that is a verb. So for example, given is the gray squirrel darted up a tree, means moved very quickly up a tree. So the gray squirrel darted up a tree. So in this example, gray squirrel is subject and verb is darted, moving up very quickly. So this can also be called a simple sentence. It is a simple sentence. If there are three types of sentences: simple, complex, and compound sentences. Now clause is as we know that clause is an important feature of the written English language. So they are building block of sentences, as cell is a building block of our life. So we have understood that it is of two types. One is dependent clause, second is independent clause. So independent clause is also known as main clause, a principal clause, and subordinate clause is known as a dependent clause. Dependent clause further divided into three types: noun clause, adverb clause, and adjective clause. And we know very well about the Santa Claus, which always come on 25th of December. We all love Santa Claus. So these are the types of clauses: main clause, independent clause, principal clause, subordinate clause, which is also called dependent clauses. Then dependent clauses division are adjective clause, noun clause, and adverbial clause. Adjective clause is also known as relative clauses. Other types are coordinate clause and conditional clause. Conditional is always dependent clause and coordinate clause is independent clause. Coordinate clause, because in this we are using coordinate conjunction. Coordinate conjunction. This video is already in my channel. Kindly watch that coordinate conjunction. So coordinate clause is independent clause and conditional clause is dependent clause. So clause are two main clauses, independent and dependent clause. So independent clause is a group of words that can stand alone. What does it means? It means a simple sentence, or it is used in simple sentences that I am going. So it is giving meaning. I am going. So it can stand alone. The sentence is giving complete meaning. So it is helpful in expressing a complete thought, complete meaning, and it is not depending on any other clause to give its meaning, to make sense. Example sentence is given: she went to the store. So this sentence is giving complete meaning. It is a past tense sentence. So she went to the store. So this sentence is it does not require any other statement to give meaning. It is totally standalone. It can give itself by complete meaning. So it is known as the independent clause, also known as main clause, or also known as principal clause. Dependent clause, as the word is suggesting, dependent, which is depending on others. So it also contains subject and a verbs, but it cannot give complete meaning. It always requires independent clause to give its complete meaning. So it cannot stand alone. So it depends totally on independent clause to give a complete meaning, complete proper meaning, complete thought. So dependent clause example is given. If you are saying that because she was out of milk, because she was out of milk, so this sentence is not giving complete meaning, proper meaning, clear meaning. So we have to give the complete proper meaning. complete thought. So we have to use it as a because he was out of milk, she went to the store. So this sentence now becomes meaningful. Because he was out of milk, it becomes in a dependent clause. She went to the store is independent clause. She went to the store, so there is no requirement of any other sentence or clause to give its complete meaning. She went to the store is principal clause, independent clause, main clause. Because he went out of milk is dependent clause. So we cannot use the sentence because he was out of milk. It does not give proper meaning, clear meaning, complete meaning. So independent clause, dependent clause, which independent clause, which is also called main clause, principal clause, it expresses a complete thought and can stand alone. Independent clause expresses incomplete thought, incomplete information. It provides incomplete information and cannot be used in sentence alone by itself. Cannot be a sentence by itself. It cannot, dependent clause cannot be a sentence itself. So both independent clause and dependent clauses contain a subject and predicate. So clauses can be independent or dependent. We have learned principal clause is indeed also known as main clause or in independent clause. So these terms are used interchangeably. We can say it as a principal clause or main clause or independent clause. So it contains subject and verbs to gives complete thought to complete meaning. Subordinate clause, dependent clause, which totally depends on another clause to give complete thought to complete meaning to make sense. Few example of main clause independent clauses are given. It contains subject and predicate. Subpredicate means verb, object. So it does not, independent clause does not depend on another clause to give complete meaning, to give make sense, or to give complete thought. Example sentences are given. The cat purred, his car broke down, the girl laughed loudly. So these sentences are giving complete meaning. It expresses a complete thought. No, it is not depending on any other clause to give to make sense. So subject and predicate consist of subject, which is a noun or pronoun, verb, then object. Predicate consists of verb and object, subject versus predicate, because I used this word in the previous slide. So this is the reason I have taken in this slide. So to acquire the knowledge about this also. Subject is a person or thing performing the action. Usually noun, pronoun or noun phrase usually precede the, means come before the predicate. Usually come before the predicate. Predicate indicate the action which is performed by the subject by noun, a pronoun, or noun phrase. It contains the verbs. It contains the verb, objects, and other elements. So usually predicate come after the subject. So it contains verb, objects, and other elements. Independent clause, just look at the example again, which can stand alone to give complete meanings. It has the potential to give complete meanings. It is not depending on other clauses to give complete meaning. So it is standalone. Example sentences is given. The secret of life is honesty. The secret of life is honesty. So it is an independent clause and giving complete meaning, complete thought, making sense. This is also a sentence. Now, if we are using the sentence, if you can fake that you have got it made. So in this case, you have got it made is a principal clause, main clause, independent clause, because it could be a sentence. It could be a sentence. Now if you can fake that it is not giving a complete meaning, it does not make sense. So if it is a starting by if is a subordinative conjunction, so started by subordinative connectors, so it is a dependent clause. It does not stand alone, and if you can fake that, it does not give complete meaning. So if you can fake that is a dependent clause, subordinate clause. In this, if is a subordinate conjunction connectors. If you have got it made is independent clause, main clause, principal clause. So how to analyze that sentences, how to identify clauses in sentences. Example sentence is given: I did not go to school as I was ill. I did not go to school as I was ill. So in this case, I did not go to school is a independent clause because it is giving complete thought. It makes sense, complete meanings. It does not require any other clauses to give complete thought. But as I was will is depending on independent clause, previous clause, main clause. So it becomes as is used as a connector. So as I was will is dependent clause or subordinate clause. So look at the step 1. I did not go to school as I was will. So group of words are there. I did not go to step 2 as I was will, having both are having subjects. Step 3, both are having finite verbs, go, was. I did not go to school as I was ill. It is a big sentence. I did not go to school as I was will, small part of big sentence. So we have made the small part of big sentence, and first part is a independent clause and second part is depending on previous part, that is a main clause. So I did not go to school is a principal clause, independent clause, main clause, which is giving complete meaning. As I was will it is not giving complete meaning. It is depending on first clause, that is a main clause or principal clause. So independent clause, main clause, it remains meaningful even if it's a dependent clause. If we remove the dependent clause from the sentence, it is meaningful. So look at the example: I did not go to the school as I was ill. So if you say like that, I did not go to school, so it also give proper meaning, complete meaning. Something is happened, so this is the reason he did not go to school. So it gives complete meaning if the dependent clause is not used. Now we can combine two independent clauses with a semicolon or with a comma and coordinators, and especially coordinators are coordinative conjunction, fanboys. So coordinative conjunction video is in my channel. Kindly watch that video. So coordinative conjunction, fanboys. Fan F for A for N for nor, B for but, O for yo or, Y for yet, S for so. Example is given. Two examples are given. How the independent clause is used with a semicolon. First example is given: the rain was pouring, semicolon, we decided to stay inside. So semicolon can be used to join two closely related independent clauses. The rain was pouring, it is an independent clause. It is an independent clause. We decided to stay inside, it is also giving complete meaning. So it is also an independent clause. So when we are joining two independent clause, we can we have to use semicolon. So a semicolon can be used to join two closely related independent clauses, especially when a coordinative conjunction is not in this sentence. There is a no need of fanboys. Coordinative conjunction is not needed. The rain was pouring, semicolon, we decided to stay inside. So both the clause is independent. Both are giving complete meanings. The rain was pouring, complete meaning. This sentence is giving, we decided to stay inside. This sentence is also giving complete meaning. So alternatively, you can use a comma and a coordinative conjunction to join two independent clauses, forming a compound sentence. So we can, with the help of comma and with the help of coordinative conjunction, we can join two independent clauses and then it forms compound sentences. So for example, the rain was pouring, so we decided to stay inside. So in this one sentence, compound sentences, how does it forms? One is dependent, other one is independent clause. So the rain was pouring, dependent clause, so we decided to stay inside. So connectors, coordinative conjunction, we decided to stay inside is independent clause here, but it becomes dependent. It becomes dependent because it is so, we have used so. So alternatively, we can use a comma and coordinative conjunction to join two independent clauses, forming a compound sentence. So we have made compound sentence with the use of so. The rain was pouring, so we decided to stay inside. So we can usually use coordinative conjunction, that is fanboys, while using an independent clauses in our sentences. Every independent clause follow the pattern. The structure is subject plus verb, which gives complete thought. Means subject plus predicate. Subject plus predicate. Predicate consists of verb plus object. Subject, noun or pronoun or noun phrases. So for example, few sentences are given in the slides, which is all these sentences are giving complete idea, complete meaning, complete thought, giving a proper sense. She walked, I'm going to the gym, they can win the match, he prevented her from teaching, I am preparing for the exam, so I will not attend the party. So these are the independent clause examples. So comma is used when we are joining two independent clauses. When we are joining two independent clauses. And semicolon for joining two independent clauses in which there is a no use of coordinative conjunction. Points should be noted. When there is a no use of any coordinative conjunction, in that places we often use semicolon. Fanboys, which we know very well. These are the few example is given, and this video is already available in my channel. So kindly go and read all the examples given. Independent clauses, examples are given. Few examples, a cat sat on the mat. He likes to play football on weekends. I'm studying for my exam. The sun sets in the east. So in this example, common independent clause words we use, and so, or, and means fanboys. So what are the types of independent clauses? What are the types of independent clauses? Simple independent clause, compound independent clause, complex independent clause. So simple independent clause is a single independent clause which gives a complete meaning, which provides a proper meaning, complete thought, which is making sense in a sentence. She sings well. So it is a simple clause, simple independent clause. Compound, it is made up of two or more independent clauses along with a coordinative conjunction. So two or independent clauses joined with a coordinative conjunction. He likes to play football, but he hates to watch it on TV. So he likes to play football is independent clause. He hates to watch it on TV. It is also an independent clause, and it is connected with a connector, and that connector is a coordinative conjunction, fanboys. But so compound independent clauses, it is made up of two or more independent clauses along with a coordinative conjunction. So it is these sentences are giving meaning with the help of coordinative conjunction, but is used in this sentence. Complex independent clause, it is made up of a single independent clause and one or more dependent clauses joined together. So it is made up of there is always a presence of single independent clause. Single independent clause is always required to form complex independent clause, and then one or more dependent clauses joined with main clause, principal clause, independent clause. For example, the movie was great, although it was quite long. So in this case, the movie was great, although it was quite long. So the movie was great is a dependent clause, although it was quite long, because it is informing about the movie. So it is depending on the first clause, which is a dependent clause, which is an dependent clause, main clause, principal clause. So although it was quite long is dependent clause, a subordinate clause. Although started with subordinate conductor. So although it was quite long. So complex independent clause consists of independent, dependent, compound, two dependent, compound, two dependent. So we have seen in this example also. So is a semicolon can be used to close. We have used in the semicolon, and both the independent sentences are there. And in second example, the rain was pouring, so we decided to stay inside. So if we use this sentence individually, it becomes two independent clauses. So like this, we are making independent clauses with the help of coordinative conjunction. So these are about the types of independent clauses: simple independent clause, compound independent clause, complex independent clauses. Complex, always remember, complex means there is a complex things. One independent, one dependent. Compound means same thing, compound. We are making the combination of something which is means two independent clauses, which is coordinating with C for compound, C with coordinative conjunction. Complex independent clause, one dependent, one independent. Means one independent and one or more dependent clauses, which are joined with subordinative conjunction or relative pronouns. So principal clauses is an independent clause that can exist without a dependent clause. It has a standalone existence. It can stand by on. Your father is saying that just you be independent. So it means you have to get the job as early as possible. So principal clause is an independent. It does not require anyone. It is itself an independent clause, independent entity, which is giving complete meaning. So it has a subject and a verb. It does not give complete thought without the principal part of the sentence. If the principal part of subject verb is not used, it requires subject and verb, subject and predicate to give its complete meaning. Principal clause are further divided into four types: declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamative based on its function. For previously, we have learned about the based on the types of sentences. It is a simple, complex, and compound independent clauses. Now, based on that function, it is of declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamative. Examples given: I will let you know when I will go. I know that he was writing an essay. How beautiful that painting was. So I let you, independent clause. I let you know, independent clause. When I will go, dependent clause. I know, independent clause. That he was writing an essay, dependent clause. How beautiful, independent clause. That painting was, independent clause. So how to recognize dependent, independent clause, we will going to learn in this video itself. So examples are given. I will let you know when I will go. So when I will go, dependent clause. That he was writing an essay, dependent clause. That painting was, dependent clause. I knew, purely independent clause. He succeeded, purely principal clause, independent clause. He was contented, he was satisfied, principal clause. It does not require any clause to give its complete meaning. He never understood, principal clause, giving complete meaning. She was telling us, principal clause, because it is this sentence is giving complete meaning. The children were crying, same, complete meaning. The train had left, complete meaning. So these sentences are principal clauses. I would do this, principal clause. The patient had died. So these are the example of principal clauses, which consist of subject and predicate, and it does not require any clauses to give its complete meaning. So these are the types of clauses on the basis of function. Four types: declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamative. So declarative means giving statements or expressing facts. Declaration means giving any statements or expressing any facts, expressing about something, making statements. Declarative. So these are the most common type of clause which and end with a period. Always we use full stop. So declarative sentences we often use in our day-to-day life. Mostly we use declarative sentences. Declarative clauses. The cat is sleeping. So it is a declarative Clause, it is giving statements. It is expressing fact that cat is sleeping. Second one is interrogative clauses. Interrogative clauses may interrogative. You know very well to ask question. Intro means inquiry. Is it to ask question? How? Who? What? When? Where? Why? How? So it always begin with a question word or auxiliary verb and end with a question mark. Are you coming? So it will start with auxiliary verb. Are is auxiliary verb. So are you coming? So it is an interrogative clause. Imperative clause. Imperative means a request. You are requesting someone, giving orders also. So imperative sentence, what is imperative sentence? When you are giving orders to someone, you are commanding someone, you are making request also. So these are called imperative sentences. So it becomes imperative clauses. So they often lack a subject because you are giving command, you are giving order, you are making request. So there is a no need of subject in imperative clauses. The point should be noted. It's not like that. In some sentences we use it, but they often lack a subject. Point should be noted. In imperative clauses, they often lack a subject. So it is understood by itself and can end with a exclamation point depending on the tone of the command. Close the door. So you have given order to close the door. So it is understood. So it often lack a subject. It often, not I'm saying always, it often lack a subject. Exclamative means exclamation, feeling of a strong emotion, feeling, sadness, happiness. So these are exclamative clauses. They usually begin with what or how and end with the exclamatory marks. What a beautiful day. So independent clause is main clause. It does not depend on dependent clauses. It is self-dependent, self-reliant, standalone, and it can give complete meanings. It is not depending on any other clauses to give its complete meaning. So a few many examples are given in this slide. So go through all the example to understand an independent clause very effectively, thoroughly. She is an excellent dancer. I love to read books. The sun shined brightly in the sky. We enjoyed our vacation in Hawaii. He plays the guitar beautifully. So when look at all the examples, there is a presence of one subject and predicate. Predicate consists of verb plus object or subject plus verb. So in all these examples, there is a presence of subject and predicate. These are in this slide also 19 example of independent clauses which consist of subject plus predicate, verb plus object or verb only. A verb plus object. The baby giggled with delight. We celebrated our anniversary at a fancy restaurant. The teacher explained the concept clearly. She runs 5 miles every morning. So these are the sentences which consist of verbs, subject, verb, predicate. Now we have to learn independent clauses and dependent clauses. Independent clauses stand alone, self-reliant, self-dependent in a sentence. It contains at least one subject and one verb. It comprises objects, complements, and adverbs also. To describe what is adverbs, but an adverb which modifies, you know very well. Adverbs video is already uploaded in my channel, so kindly watch that video also. So it also comprise consists of objects, complements, and adverbs in the predicate section. Are the building independent clauses are the main building block of simple, compound, and complex sentences. Without independent clauses, we cannot make any sentences. Sentences are three types: simple, compound, and complex structure sentences. So we cannot frame any sentences without the main clause, principal clause, or independent clauses. It may be combined using a coordinative conjunction, conjunctive adverbs. Conjunctive adverbs video, very soon I am going to upload conjunctive adverbs video also. I have made this slide so many months before, but till now I'm not getting time to upload, but I will upload very soon. So it may be combined using coordinative conjunction, conjunctive adverbs, commas, and semicolons. So are always finite. Independent clause consists of finite verbs. Dependent clause totally dependent means totally depending on main clause, principal clause, independent clause, so it cannot stand alone as sentences. You students, you all are dependent on your parents. You cannot, you there is no till now, you if you did not get the job, your identity is nil, so you are a dependent. So dependent clause cannot stand alone. You also cannot stand alone without your parents. You have to earn for this, you have to earn to be independent. So dependent clause cannot stand alone as sentences. It can same contains a subject and at least one subject and a verb. It consists of subject and predicate, object, complements, and adverbials. Adverb video kindly watch in my YouTube channel. Are the buildings dependent clause are the building blocks of compound, complex, and complex structures. Compound, complex, and complex structures. Not compound. Compound sentence, there is a presence of two independent clauses. Complex, dependent, independent, and compound complex structure. So they are building blocks of complex, compound complex structures and may be commonly used using subordinative conjunction and commas. Very important point should be noted. Independent clause, we are using coordinative conjunction, conjunctive adverbs, commas, and semicolons. Example of coordinative conjunction, um, uh, commas and semicolons I have already given in the previous slides. Dependent clause, it may be combined using subordinative conjunction and commas. So in this way, you will recognize the dependent clauses in all different types of sentences. It may be finite or non-finite. Finite or non-finite verbs. What is a dependent clause? So dependent clause we have understood very well. So it is cannot stand alone. It cannot itself gives a complete meaning. It cannot provide a complete thought. It cannot itself provides a proper sense, complete sense, meaningful sense. So since it lacks completeness, since it lacks complete meanings, it cannot stand alone, self-reliant, self-dependent, and it always needs to be connected to a main clause, principal clause, or independent clause. So which does express a complete thought. So when it joins with the complete independent clause, then it only gives a complete thought, complete meaning, complete sense. For example, when the rain stops, dependent clause, we will go outside, independent clause. So we will go outside is an independent clause. When the rain stops, dependent clause. So when we combine these two dependent independent clauses, then dependent, when the rain stop, it is this sentence is not complete sentence because this sentence is not providing complete meaning. We will go outside is an independent clause. Why? It is giving a complete, because it is giving a complete meaning, complete thought. So when we combine both these sentences, it becomes when the rain stop, we will go outside. So when the rain stop is the dependent clause that gives more information to the main idea, then we will go outside. Next example is given. The poor women had no money. The poor women had no money because she had lost her job. So the poor women had no money is giving complete meaning, proper meaning. It is making sense. Because she had lost her job, this sentence is completely dependent on first clause, that is an independent clause, main clause. The poor woman had no money. So because she had lost her job is adverbial clause. We are going dependent clause of three types. So we will learn in next series of this video adverbial clause, adjective clause, everything, noun clause. Because is a subordinative conjunction, because we have understood in the previous slide that dependent clause is in this we use subordinative conjunction, commas, semicolon. We have used. That is a very important point, how to recognize use of subordinative conjunction and commas. And for independent clause, using coordinative conjunction, conjunctive adverbs, commas, and semicolon. So because she had lost her job is subordinative conjunction. So these are the types of clauses: principal subordinate clause, which is also called dependent clause, coordinate clause, and command clause. So subordinate clause types are noun clause, adjective clause, adverb clause. Noun clause, adjective clause, adverb clause. So in this series of videos, clauses series, I will teach all everything. So dependent clause are given when the sun sets, the stars come out, the star comes out. The independent clause, and when the sun sets, dependent clause. I will go to the park if it stops raining. So if is subordinative conjunction, when is subordinative conjunction? So if it is stop raining. So if it stops raining is a dependent clause. Same the example, the movie that we watched last night was fantastic. That we watched last night was fantastic. It is a dependent clause. The movie is a independent clause. The movie was fantastic. That we watched last night, dependent clause. Although it was raining, they decided to go for a walk. So they decided to go for a walk, dependent clause, independent clause, and although it was raining, independent clause. So like this, all the example is given. So bold letters, all the bold letters, alphabets, words are given. So these sentences are dependent clause unless it is start to thunder before I leave the house, because it's these all that is clauses requires principal clause, main clause to give complete meanings. When the bell rang, the students rushed out of the classroom. The student rushed out of the classroom. Principal clause, main clause, independent clause. When the bell rang, dependent clause. So with these are the many examples are given. Try to revise, write, note down in your notebook and practice this, how to recognize the dependent clause and independent clauses. We are going to learn the rules also in this video itself. So kindly go through all the examples. This is the reason I have given many examples. So dependent clause words, when writing a dependent clause, various words and phrases can be used to indicate its subordinate nature. Subordinate means it is depending on main clause, principal clause, independent clause. So these words and phrases are known as subordinative conjunction and relative pronouns. So subordinative conjunction video is available in my channel. Kindly watch that video, so you will acquire all the knowledge, deep knowledge, because I'm always producing channels on all the concept. I'm trying to give in details what is the reason behind this. To you have to take the knowledge in deep. If you read anything in deeply, you will not going to forget anything. It will stick to your mind. So kindly revise, watch that video, subordinative conjunction. It's my request. After, although these are the subordinative conjunction given after, although, as, because, before, even, if, since, though, unless, until, when, whenever, where is, while. Relative pronoun is also used as a connector in dependent clause words, dependent clauses. That, which, who, whom, whose, where, when. So relative pronouns, commas, and subordinative conjunctions points, very important points should be noted. So dependent clauses use subordinative conjunction, relative pronouns, and commas. Sometimes, not always, sometimes it uses commas. So these are the list of subordinative conjunctions: comparison, time, concession, relative pronouns, reason, condition, place, relative adjectives, manner. So these are the list of subordinative conjunction which make the sentence subordinative clauses, means dependent clauses. These are relative pronouns, which, that, who, whom. So which is used to refer to anything. That is refer to things also. Who refers to people, whom refers to people. So example sentence which given, my bike which I have owned for 3 years is in need of some maintenance. So which I have owned for 3 years, dependent clause. So it is used in non-restrictive clauses. So non-restrictive clauses means it gives meaning to this specific meaning to that particular sentence. That refers to things used in restrictive clauses. It means it is the last bike that I owned was not very resilient. So it giving extra information. Restrictive clauses. So the last bike that I owned was not very resilient. That I owned is dependent clauses. The man who lives next door to me is called Jamil. So who lives next door to me? Dependent clauses. I don't know the names of my other neighbors whom I have never met. So whom I have never met is dependent clauses. So we use relative pronouns, subordinative conjunction in subordinative clauses or dependent clauses. So how to use dependent clauses? So at the beginning of a sentence, example sentence, we can use when we use it in the at the beginning of sentences. I already teach you in my previous video the uses of how to use the commas. So commas I have already taught you. So if you study hard, comma, you will pass the test. So at the beginning of sentence, when we are using subordinative conjunction, if you study hard, so it becomes dependent clause, subordinative clause. So we have to use comma. If you study hard, comma, you will pass the test. Dependent clause, and then we will use at the end of the sentence also. When we are using subordinative conjunction at the end of sentence, we will not use comma. So these rules I have already taught in my conjunction video series. So if you will pass the test if you study hard. So if is used at the back of the sentence, at the end of the sentence, so in this case we are not using comma. In the middle of sentence, then we will use the comma. Adjective clauses often appear in the middle of sentence, giving more details about a noun. When we are using adjective clauses in our sentences, so it often appear in the middle of sentences. Detailed videos of adjective clauses I will upload within 2-3 days. So adjective clauses often appear in the middle of sentences and giving more details about a noun, and in this case we are using after noun comma. The car which was brand new. So which was brand new. It is describing about the car. So it becomes adjective clause. So which was brand new, comma, broke down after a week. So these are the rules of using comma or not using comma, and in the case of dependent clauses. So these are the parts of a speech. Noun clause act as a noun, relative clause which act as an adjective, adverb clause which act as an adverb. Independent and dependent clauses differentiation is again given. So we have learned all that. Independent clauses consist of a subject and a verb. Independent clauses are three characteristics we have learned based on that sentences, and based on the function we have learned. It consists of a subject which gives information on what the subject is about. It consists of predicate which gives more information about the subject. It gives complete meaning, complete thought, the sentences make sense. So it gives information on what is happening in the sentence. It giving transparent meaning, clear meaning, complete thought. So it is independent. It is an independent clause. I forgot my homeworks. So I forgot my homework is giving this sentence is an independent clause because it is informing about homework was forgotten. He or she has forgotten his homework. So forgot means in the past tense. So this sentence is giving complete meaning. Dependent clause, as we know very well, it also consists of subject and predicate, but it does not give complete meaning. It always depend on independent clause, that is independent clause is also called main clause or principal clause. It has marker words. Dependent clause has subordinative conjunction, relative pronouns as a marker words. So sentence is given, dependent clause, because I forgot my homework, I got sent home. That child, that student has sent to home because he forgot his homework. So because I forgot my homework, I got sent home. So I got sent home is an independent sentence giving complete meaning. Because I forgot my homework is dependent clause. So all the differentiation and types of dependent clauses, independent clauses are we have learned. Now we are going to learn about subordinate clause, which is also known as dependent clause. In subordinate clauses, we use subordinative conjunction and relative pronouns. So in this way, we will recognize dependent clause, which is also called subordinate clause. So dependent clause is a group of words that cannot stand alone as a complete sentence because it does not express a complete thought. It does not give a complete meaning. It also contains subject and predicate, but it depends on always on an independent clause to give its complete meaning. Dependent clause are called subordinate clause because they depend on the main clause to give complete meaning. It cannot give a complete meaning, complete thought. It becomes meaningful when it is attached to the main clause or principal clause or independent clause. It also has subject and verb, but it cannot make complete sense. Few examples given here. Look at the four examples are given in the slide. Because he loves to read book, independent clause. These sentences are dependent clauses. Dependent clauses because these all the sentences are not giving complete meaning. Because he loves to read book after singing their favorite song while he was driving until she saw the price. So these are all the dependent clauses because these all sentences are not giving complete meaning. Look at these sentences. These is, I don't know, this three examples are given here. I don't know what you want in this sentence is giving complete meaning. So I don't know independent clause, main clause. What you want? Dependent clause. Next example is given. He has a watch that is made of gold. So that is made of gold, dependent clause. He has a watch, independent clause. Whenever I meet her, she tells me a new story. So when we use subordinative conjunction at the beginning of sentence, we have to use comma. These rules I have already taught in my previous videos of conjunction. So whenever I meet her, comma, she tells me a new story. So dependent clauses are divided into three types: noun, adjective, and adverb clauses. So now we have going to put in independent clauses and dependent clauses together to make an extended sentence. With the help of independent clauses and dependent clauses, we are giving complete meaning. While sitting happily, the chicken laid eggs. The chicken laid eggs, main clause, principal clause. While sitting happily, dependent clause. While sitting happily is dependent clause. So chicken laid eggs, to make any sense to the reader, it is giving and is a subordinate clause. While sitting happily is a dependent clause. It is not giving complete clear meaning, complete thought. So dependent clause, also known as subordinate clause, which consists of subject and verb. It always requires one independent clause to give a meaningful, complete meaning, complete sentences. So these are the few examples: simple, compound, complex, compound, complex. Examples are given: a simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, compound, complex sentences. So simple sentence example is given here. I like speaking English. Compound, I like speaking English, comma, and I like reading it too. Complex, because I like speaking English, comma, I practice as often as I can. Compound complex, because I like speaking English, comma, I practice as often as I can, so I remain proficient. Look at the first simple sentence, I like speaking English. So it gives complete meaning and it consists of one independent clause. Simple sentence. Compound sentence, I like speaking English and I like reading it too. So I like speaking English, independent clause. I like reading it too, also independent clause, and joined by subordinative conjunction. Fanboys means coordinative conjunction and is coordinative conjunction. So I like speaking English and I like reading it too. So both the sentences are independent. So compound sentences join two independent sentences with the help of coordinative conjunction. Complex sentence. Because I like speaking English, I practice as often as I can. Because I like speaking English, independent clause. I practice as often as I can. So this sentence consists of dependent clause. I practice because I like speaking English, dependent clause. I practice, independent clause, as often as I can. So as often as I can is dependent clause. So in this sentence, complex sentence, there is a one independent clause, I practice because I like speaking English as often as I can, dependent clause. So complex sentences consist of at least one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. Complex sentences joined with subordinative conjunction. Now, next about the sentence example is given compound complex. Because I like speaking English, I practice as often as I can, so I remain proficient. Because I like speaking English, same dependent clause. I practice, independent clause. So there is a combination of compound and complex sentence as I can, so I remain proficient. Then it becomes, so I remain proficient, it becomes independent clause. So there is a compound, a mixture of compound and complex sentence. It becomes compound and complex. Participle clause, infinitival clause, this video I will make separately, but only I have given example. The examination marker was ours. Falling participle, falling many students, failing many students. Failing is a participle clause. The student wanted to finish class early, so infinitive clauses. Infinitive, to finish, infinitive. So this video is already uploaded in my channel, so kindly watch. Okay. Participle, verb plus ing, feeling. So now first very important rules which we are going to learn about dependent clauses, and I'm given in one slides. Kindly listen to it and read it and note it down very carefully how to avoid common errors in your sentences. The first three rules which I am going to give you. The first rule is that correct subordinate conjunction should be used to introduce dependent clauses, the most common of which we have included below. So I have said you that coordinative conjunction is used with independent clauses and subordinative with dependent clauses, subordinated clauses. So we have seen in this also example compound sentences, and so with the help of coordinative conjunction we are making compound and complex subordinative conjunction. So this video, kindly watch my video which is already uploaded. Now these are the three rules. Kindly write down in your notebook. The first rule is, whenever we are using subordinative conjunction in while using dependent clauses in our sentences, we have to use it very carefully. Because each of these conjunction have different meanings. Each conjunction express different meanings such as cause, concession, condition. So it is important the students can learn their different meanings carefully. Cause as because, in order that, since, so that, comparison, as though, just as, in contrast to, whereas. So for cause we can use as, because, in order that, since, so that. For any cause we can use these subordinative conjunction. Comparison we have used as though, just as, in contrast to, whereas also used for comparison. Concession, although, even though, though. Condition, even if, in case, provided that, unless, place, where, wherever, whereas. So kindly watch subordinative conjunction video, which is already uploaded in my channel. This is the reason I'm constantly saying, so which will help you to know about the distinguish about coordinative and subordinative conjunction. Second rule, student make sure that they never write a dependent clause without using combining that clause with at least one independent clause. So rule is that student do not combine two dependent clauses. A dependent clauses always require at least one independent clauses to give complete meaning, to make sense. So that's because a single independent clause creates a ungrammatical sentence, forming what is known as incomplete sentence format. Means when you are writing a dependent clause without also combining that clause with at least one independent clause. Example, I am studying this language even though I don't find it interesting. I am studying this language even though I don't find it understanding. Correct sentence is I am studying this language even though I don't find it understanding. So there is a no use of comma, full stop. So if you are making a single in this examples, if you are in this sentence, we have to make a single sentence. I'm studying this language even though it did not find it understanding. There is no need to make it to put a full stop period here. Now, next example, because I study English every day, it does not, this sentence is not giving complete meaning. You have to complete the sentence. Because I study English every day, I can speak it quite well. So I can speak it quite well. So it is an independent clause. So dependent clause always require at least one independent clause, one main clause. So these are the rules you have to follow while writing independent clauses. So if you are using single dependent clause, because I study English every day, it does not give complete meaning. It is ungrammatical sentence. It is incomplete. It gives incomplete meaning. So it requires one independent clause also to give complete meaning. Now, third rule. Third rule is when a sentence begins with a dependent clause, such as because I study English every day, a comma must be used to separate the dependent clause from independent clause. This is we have to use. So look at the example. Because I study English every day, comma, I can speak it quite well. So in this case, when we have used the sentence start with the because or any subordinative conjunction, after completing the dependent clause, we have to use comma. This is the third most important rule. This is not in the case 1. I am studying this language even though I don't find it understanding, interesting. So this is not true in the case 1. However, when the independent clause come after the dependent clause, explaining why I am studying this language, combines with dependent clause, even though I don't find it interesting, without punctuation. So I am studying this language. It is an independent clause, and then there is a presence of independent clause. So in this sentence, there is a known use of comma. Simple rule: when you are using dependent clause and you are using the subordinative conjunction at the beginning of the sentence, completion of the dependent clause, use comma. If you are using subordinative conjunction or dependent clause At the end of the sentence, no use of comma. So these are the rules. These are the rules you have to follow while writing or while using clauses. So the example is given again about the comma and no comma. Because it is raining, we have an umbrella. So because it is raining, dependent clause with the help of subordinative connector. So we have to use comma after completion of dependent clause. We have an umbrella because it is raining. So in this case, independent clause, principal clause at the front of the sentence. So we will not use comma. So this point should be always taken into consideration while writing or speaking. So these are the independent clause FAQs, independent clauses, sentences. He went to the store, the dog barked loudly. So these all the sentences. They represents of subject and predicates. It can stand alone and gives complete meaning, complete thought. Few example of given independent clause, dependent clause. Because it was raining is dependent clause. It's a wrong sentence, not giving complete meaning. When I was a child, dependent clause. If I can find my keys, although she was tight. So these dependent clauses, it has a subject and verb, but it does not give complete meaning. Dependent clauses always require at least one independent clauses. So independent clause can stand alone, can give complete meaning, while a dependent clause totally depend on independent clause to form a complete sentence or to give a complete meanings. So what are the common mistake with dependent clauses? So these are the common mistake. Because I was tired, it was a wrong sentence. You have to complete it with the use of independent clause. Because I was tired, comma, I went to bed early. And the second mistakes we are doing is using the wrong conjunction. So you have to read the subordinative conjunction very thoroughly before using clauses in your sentences. Although it was raining, comma, but we went outside. So there is no requirement of using two subordinative subordinate, but is a coordinative conjunction, although is subordinative conjunction. So we are mixing both together. So it's a wrong sentence. So although it was raining, comma, we went outside. So it is a correct sentence. We cannot, we have to take care of commas. We have learnt in the previous two slides also. So remember to use a comma when the dependent clauses use at the start of the sentence, beginning of the sentence, but avoid using it commas when dependent clause use at the end of the sentence. We will go outside when the rain stops. So in this sentence, dependent clause, we will go outside. So we will go outside is an independent clause when the rain stops. So when the rain stops is dependent clause. So when it is dependent clause is used at the end of the sentence, no comma should be used. These are the common mistakes you should avoid while using dependent clauses in your speaking and writing. So these are the common mistakes. So independent clauses express a complete meaning and stand alone. The cat sat on the mat. Dependent clauses, because the cat was tied, it's a incomplete sentence, incomplete meanings. So common mistakes, how to fix them: sentence fragments, writing a dependent clause as if it were a complete sentence. So because I was tied, it is incomplete sentence, incomplete thought. So we have to fix it by using at least one independent clause. Because I was tired, comma, I went to bed. So it becomes correct sentence. Comma slices, this also explain in my videos, in my previous videos. Joining two independent clauses with only a comma. The movie was long, comma, it was also boring. Examples. So fix, in this case, you have to use semicolon, which I explain in this video also in the previous slides. So the movie was long, semicolon, it was also boring. So use a semicolon while using a coordinative conjunction or separating the two independent clauses with two sentences. So use a semicolon, a coordinative conjunction, or separate the clauses into two sentences. The movie was long, semicolon, it was also boring. The movie, we can also write the movie was long, comma, but it was also boring. So we have used here coordinative conjunction, but. The movie was long, full stop, it was also boring. So these are the, this way we will frame the sentences. The wrong example is given. The movie was long, comma, it was also boring. This sentence is wrong. Correct three. We will correct these sentences, and three examples are given. The movie was long, semi semicolon, and it was also boring. The movie was long, comma, but it was also boring. With the help of coordinative conjunction, the movie was long, full stop, it was also boring. So these are the mistakes we have to avoid. Misplaced modifier. Sometimes we are misplacing a modifier. Modifier means a word or phrase that describes something too far from the words it modifies. So it creating confusion. So avoid using misplace of modifiers. Walking down the street, the dog saw a squirrel. So dog is not walking down the street. So fix the modifier which is close to the word it modifies. Walking down the street, the man saw the dog chasing a squirrel. So this sentence become clear and complete. Walking down the street, the man saw the dog chasing a squirrel. Now next is no need to overuse of that. That, no need to use overuse of that in restrictive clauses which which provides giving in that specific sentences. The book that I read was interesting. So in this sentence, there is no use of that, because the book giving a specific meaning, restrictive meaning. So no use of that. So no use of that in the sentence. The correct one is that the book I read was interesting. So omit that. Overuse of that is not required. Confusing which or that. Which, when, that is more appropriate for restrictive clauses. Restrictive means which the clauses which gives meaning to the specific sentences. So the car which was red was expensive. This sentence is wrong. The red car that I saw was expensive. It is correct one. Use which for non-restrictive example. Wrong sentence is given. The car, comma, which was red, comma, was expensive. So it is incorrect because red color is essential to the car being discussed. So fix use which for non-restrictive clauses. Non-restrictive clauses means which provides extra information about subject, and that for restrictive clauses. So the red car that I saw was expensive. The red car that I saw was expensive. So that is used as a restrictive, which is informing about, explaining about, giving extra information about the red car. So the red car that I saw was expensive. So that is used as a restrictive clause. Here, which is not used. Using, now next error we are doing, using dependent clauses with subordinative conjunction. As I so many times tell you that no need to confuse with the coordinative and subordinative conjunction when we are using coordinative conjunction with independent clauses, and subordinative conjunction with subordinative clause which is dependent clauses. So we have to take care of this one. We cannot use subordinative conjunction while using dependent. Subordinative conjunction, when we are using subordinative conjunction with dependent clauses or dependent clauses, we have to use it carefully. So because the sentence is given, starting a sentence with a subordinative conjunction like because, although, since, without completing the thought, if you are writing only the dependent clause, it will not give a complete meaning. It always requires a main clause, independent clause. So because it was raining, it is an incomplete sentence, dependent clause. So it requires a independent clause to give complete meaning, proper meaning. Because it was raining, comma, I stayed inside. So using dependent clauses with subordinative clauses correctly. So these 10 common grammar mistakes which we have learned, we have to learn more in elaborate way so that we will not do any mistakes and help us and make our writing, English speaking more clear, more concise. So 10 more rules we are going to, whatever the rules we have learned, with more examples we are going to learn the same rules we are going to learn, but I have given the more examples. The reason you will not confusing independent dependent clauses. He went to the store, independent clauses, dependent clause because he was hungry. So we cannot write a dependent clause alone. It always need a dependent one, at least one dependent clause to give a complete sentence. So correct one is because he was hungry, comma, he went to the store. So it becomes complete meaning. Misusing commas, splices. We have learned in the previous slide also. I finish my homework. Comma. I watch a movie. It's a wrong. Correct alternatives we can use. I finish my homework. Semicolon. I watch my movie, because both the sentences are independent clause. I finish my homework. Independent clause. I watch my movie. Independent clause. Uses a conjunction. I finish my homework and I watch my movie. In this case, we have used conjunction and. Make two separate sentences. I finished my homework and full stop, I watch a movie. So these are the about the misusing comma slices and how we will use the correct alternatives. Omitting commas after introductory clauses. So without the comma and with the comma, which we have learned in the previous slide also, after we finished eating, we went home. Without comma, with the comma, correct sentence, after we finished eating, comma, we went home. Because we use the independent clause at the beginning of the sentence after we finished eating. So without the comma, he riddles, it will give an incomplete meaning, not proper meaning. So these are the rules we have to take care, and how to use that one. Before the movie started, we before the movie started, we grabbed snacks. If you study regularly, your grammar will improve. Although it was raining, they continued the game. So this small punctuation rule can have a big impact on clarity and flow. So these are the rules you have to follow without the comma and with the comma. Misplacing adjective clauses. So adjective clauses is a group of words that describe a noun. It usually begins with a relative pronoun like who, whom, whose, which, or that. So the book that I borrowed from the library was amazing. So in this case, that I borrow from the library is an adjective clause which is describing the book. Problems happen when the adjective clause is placed too far from the noun it is supposed to describe. So this creates confusion or incomplete meanings. So misplaced modifier example, she handed a sandwich to the child on a paper plate who was crying. This make it sound like the paper plate was crying. So correct version is she handed a sandwich on a paper plate to the child who was crying. So correct placement is required. It gives clarity and prevents any mistake and doubt. Next, use of which when you mean that. So meaningless learners will get confused with the help of restrictive and non-restrictive clauses. Restrictive clauses gives necessary information about the noun, use that and do not use commas. So example, the book that say recommended is out of print. So only the books recommended it is out of print. This info is essential. This information is important. So the book that she recommended it is out of print. So what the book she recommend is out of print. This information is essential. Non-restrictive clauses which gives extra information. Which and do use commas. The book which is recommended is out of print. So you are just adding extra information about the book. So using the wrong word or forgetting the commas can totally change your sentences meaning or make it unclear. So we commonly do the mistake, the car which is red is mine. So in this case, should be the car that is red is mine if you are identifying a specific red car. So kindly don't do these mistakes. So restrictive clause, a clause that identify the words it modifies. Restrictive clause, the man who lives next door won the lottery. So in this case, who lives next door is a restrictive clause. The man is the man won the lottery is a independent clause. So the man who lives next door, restrictive clause, which is giving about that specific information. Non-restrictive, which is giving extra information. The same is with comma, who lives next door, comma, won the lottery. So non-restrictive clause, which is giving about the extra information. The Smith who lives next door. So giving extra information. So non-restrictive clauses. So all the students who have got bad marks won't succeed. So in this case, restrictive clause, it is necessary in the sentence. Without it, the meaning is not clear. So all the students who have got bad marks won't succeed. So who have got bad marks is restrictive relative clause. The man who founded phase was Monday, Idris first. Who founded phase restrictive clause, giving specific information. Now move to the non-restrictive relative clause, which is giving extra information. My grandfather, who is 75 years old, still goes jogging. My grandfather still goes jogging. Independent clause, who is 75 years old, is non-restrictive relative clause, which is giving extra information about my grandfather. My car, which is 25 years old, non-restrictive relative clause, often breaks down. So these are about the. So in now next we have to take care of the errors. Incomplete conditional clauses. When we are using in conditional clauses, in that we have to also take care. While using dependent independent clauses. Conditional clause we will learn in the next videos. It is of three types: zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional. So zero condition, which informs about general facts, general truths. First conditional, future and possibility. Second condition, imaginary condition, artificial condition. Third condition, past, expressing about the past. So what are the mistake we while using these conditional clauses we always do. Example sentences given: if I will see you tomorrow, I will call you. So if I will see you tomorrow, I will call you. It's a wrong sentence. First should be if I see you tomorrow, I will call you. It is a correct sentence. So the word will should never appear in the if part of the sentence in real condition. Very important point should be noted, and I'm going to explain the conditional clauses in my next video. So when we are using if part, student kindly don't use will. It breaks the structure and sounds awkward or unnatural, gives wrong information. So if I will see you tomorrow, I will call you, it's a wrong sentence. You have to use if I see you tomorrow, I will call you. So these are the condition clauses: zero condition, first, second, third condition, and how to take care. So about these sentences, if we when we are using if, we will not use will in the first sentence. We will going to learn condition clauses in my next video. Now about the what are the mistakes we have to avoid using incorrect pronoun used in relative clauses. Relative clauses, again, I will make the separate video, but in this video I'm explaining about how to avoid common errors while using independent and dependent clauses. Relative pronouns connect clauses and help describe nouns more clearly. So you know about the relative pronouns: who, whom, whose, that. So who, the student who asked the question, is very curious. The teacher whom the student admired is retiring. She is the writer whose book became a bestseller. The phone that he bought does not work. So these are about the confusing sentence. The woman which lives next door is kind, which we cannot use, which we use for the non-living things. The woman who lives next door is kind is a correct sentence. Overusing that, we have seen in the previous slide also. We cannot overuse that. I think that is he is right. She said that she would come. It is clear that she would help. It is a wrong sentence. Instead of that, you use I think he is right. She said she would come. It is clear we need help. So when that is not necessary, no need to use it. Otherwise, it will give wrong information, doubtful information. So that is not necessary for clarity. Leaving it out usually make more sentences sound smoother and more fluent. So I think correct sentence is, I think he's right. Full stop, she said she would come. Full stop, it is clear, we need help. So these are the types of clauses which we are going to learn in the next video.